So in September, the San Diego Violent Crimes Task Force initiated an investigation targeting a crew made up of gang members associated with the Mexican Mafia. This crew was operating out of a stash house on Wonderland Avenue in the Encanto neighborhood of San Diego.
You YouTube renegades, it's the voice of the barrio, the voice of the Vato Loco, the voice of the voiceless, the outlaw. Que pasa, cyber raza? Earlier today, Vacaville MK Ultra test dummy, celebrity snitch influencer Mundo Mendoza, dropped a fairy tale on his Police and Fire Publishing YouTube channel regarding December 7th, just a few days ago, outlaw renegades, mass arrest of a suspected Mexican Mafia San Diego criminal operation. Law enforcement has dubbed Operation Scrapbuster. Yes, Operation Scrapbuster. A 4-month-long waste of taxpayers' money of an investigation designed to cripple the Mexican Mafia's power in the San Diego area. Okay, keyboard outlaws, I'm sure Mundo, as well as mainstream media, painted this incident out to be some massive criminal operation to shut down the Mexican Mafia in San Diego that's run by comic book supervillain-like imprisoned Greek god-like gangster leaders from the Mexican Mafia. Specifically, one, Ronnie Ayala, from the San Diego area, who's currently on death row for a triple murder conviction committed back in the late 80s. Okay, YouTube renegades, your boy, the Cholo journalist, was going to read a few news articles regarding Operation Scrapbuster and go step by step and explain the lies and manipulation tactics they used to sell the illusion of the prison matrix boogeyman to you, Cyber Raza. But instead, the outlaw is going to leave several links in the description below to news articles, plus the official press conference by law enforcement, even a 2017 old news article on Operation Emero, also from the San Diego area and supposedly also targeting Ronnie Ayala as well. My keyboard banditos, neither of these news articles nor the press conference any snitch influencers profiling Operation Scrapbuster name one actual suspected Mexican Mafia member indicted in this operation, Scrapbuster, though they claim to have wiretaps and communications to and from incarcerated MM members, yet none of the individuals arrested in connection with Operation Scrapbuster hold any significant role or position within the Mexican Mafia. They're nobody's, outlaw renegades, no disrespect intended, but yet these news outlets, law enforcement, and especially popular snitch influencers insinuate knowing and having evidence that in fact Ronnie Ayala running the show behind the walls of prison with a cell phone, which apparently they claim they have been recording. Isn't the purpose of criminal investigations to take down the kingpins, the top bosses, right, YouTube renegades? Yet why wasn't there any MM members or associates indicted in Operation Scrapbuster, especially Ronnie Ayala, who they're publicly claiming is the kingpin of the San Diego operation? In 2017's Operation Emero, the same thing happened, YouTube renegades. Public claims of direct knowledge that Ayala was running the shit in San Diego, but never indicted, just left alone without seizing his prison account or trying to trace his money sources for federal laundering charges. I challenge any of you, outlaw renegades, or even you snitch influencer fanboys, to find a news article or official law enforcement source which claims anyone of significance, direct connection, or actually a member of the Mexican Mafia are indicted in Operation Scrapbuster, or if in fact there's enough credible evidence to even suggest it's a Mexican Mafia-run operation from prison in the first place. They could file federal charges against Ronnie Ayala and send him 1,000 miles away from his home base of California, making communications more difficult, right? Theoretically speaking, but they're not. Instead, they're wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars of local, state, and federal taxpayers' money, our money, Cyber Raza, to conduct these public relation campaign operations that never target or arrest anyone who's considered a high-level echelon criminal leader. If they can't find or if they're unable to properly gather evidence to prove someone is actually committing a crime, the outlaw would understand that. But my YouTube renegades, every month there's some mass Emmett or Nuestra Familia operation promoted on mass media outlets as if they actually have proof these guys are running criminal operations from prison. Yet, their informants never seem to testify to direct evidence anyone is running shit from their prison cell, or is there credible evidence presented in court that in fact this is really happening. For over 50 years now, these prison gangs allegedly have run criminal operations from behind the walls of prison. Now mind you, the outlaw knows it's possible that small-scale type crimes might be hatched inside of prison walls. Two guys might plan to rob a bank, or a convenience store, or something of that nature. Some smaller drug dealer might end up meeting a larger scale drug connection in prison. Or someone might hire somebody to kill somebody, that type of shit. But do you really think for a moment that high-level prison officials, law enforcement, our state and federal officials would just sit back and allow this to happen as easily as they themselves represent it to be happening every day on mainstream media outlets? Please, some state or federal agency would either force prison officials to stop this or completely take over the California prison system themselves. It's not rocket science. These men are in prison. Unless it's not really happening though, and these are just informant-influenced criminal activities used to sell a well-promoted illusion of the prison matrix. Since day one, way back in the early 70s, officials and journalists questioned the credibility of exaggerated claims that prison gangs were controlling large portions of the state's crimes from special isolation prison cells. That if true, not only was ours, the California prison system, a complete waste of taxpayers' money, but prison officials and state law enforcement would be laughed at by other state prison officials and law enforcement agencies for allowing such a thing to happen at the level they claim is happening. It wasn't until 1975 when informants Mundo, Sailor Boy, who were led by Joe Morgan, crimes created the illusion of the prison matrix Mexican mafia boogeyman gangsters. What do you think, YouTube renegades? Leave your comments. Don't forget to hit the like, and for those who haven't yet, just subscribe to the Outlaw and help fight against snitch culture conformity, because there's a war out for your minds, YouTube renegades. So stay strapped with your critical thinking beanies on and always 113 or 114% activated. As always, a clinch fist salute y venceremos.